Hello again. Um, I just recently did an upload, but I decided to do another one this morning. Um, Basically, tomorrow is my appointment with my pain management doctor, and last month that I went, I go every month, once a month, see him, and last month I kind of freaked out a little bit because he's been trying to lower my medication, and that's like the opposite of what I need. I've never asked him for an increase in medication, but it would certainly do me some good. But I'm concerned about maintaining as low as possible a dosage as I can. That's my responsibility. As somebody taking this kind of medication, very dangerous medication, I have to take care of myself. I have a family, and I have to watch out for my long-term health as well. But there's always a balance. You take these medication. It's not only a question of like even becoming addicted. You have to be concerned with any medication, long-term use, what it could do to your body. But I was advised by a very good doctor a long time ago that if you have something that's wrong with you, you have to deal with it as best you can. And if that means taking medication, then do it. And plan for having a good long-term future, and plan for taking care of yourself in the long term, and to do your best to do that. But at the same time, it can't be at the expense of living right now, being well, because you really can't look toward a future without being well now. I've been in very, very bad pain, almost constantly, for years already. And there are things that help. I'm talking other than pain medication here, because, even pain medication is not like a miracle, hey, just take some more medicine and more medicine and more medicine. It doesn't work that way. It's a mitigating factor. But, right now, people like me are faced with this national farce about these medications, the opiate medications, being this horrible danger. The same way this kind of thing happens with all kinds of things in society. It becomes a hot buzz topic, and all of a sudden everybody's like, ban it. I don't see alcohol being banned. I don't see tobacco, cigarettes being banned. They make tons of money, so of course they're not going to be banned, even though there is absolute, empirically proven 100,000 times again that the deaths caused by those substances are 1,000-fold to any kind of addicted drugs, even street drugs. So the question becomes, what is my role and what is the role of the doctor? Now, the doctor, hey, every 6 months they have to justify all their prescriptions and treatments to the insurance companies, and I know that's a big hassle. And there's part of me that I think the first things that I initially would always react to anytime somebody, anytime a doctor had any kind of hesitation with treatment, with continuing treatment, it's like, oh well, you're no longer worth it. You're no longer worth it as a customer, because let's face it, for the most part, I know doctors are good people in general, but for the most part, they're businesses, and sometimes it's easy to let those concerns get in the way of properly treating a person who's sick. And I know it's a hassle, but I take care of my health as best I can. I exercise when I can, and I stretch and I walk. I try to do things that will alleviate my pain. I'm very disciplined with my medicine. I always try to make sure that if I'm taking it because I really need to. There's 2 medications I take. One is every 12 hours. That's routine. That's kind of just like to maintain the lower level of pain. And then there's acute breakthrough pain, which I have all the time, I really should be on a higher dosage, but I'm not, and that's fine, because I don't ever want to go there until it's absolutely necessary. Because your body can become more tolerant to these medications over time, and the less you take, the better. And I know that. But when this political nonsense gets in the face of a doctor, and that doctor starts to want to taper you off or taper you down even just a little, even though you're taking your medication responsibly, you're taking urine tests whenever requested, never a problem, never any kind of problem with the results. You go in monthly, even though it's agonizing sometimes. Sometimes it's agonizing to go in for that monthly appointment. You got to get in a car. For me, it's a car ride for a while, sometimes a half hour, and that hurts a lot. But I do it because otherwise, no doctor will treat you with this kind of medication. Is that right? No, that's not right, but that's the way it is, so I accept that. But even though I have done all these things responsibly for my care, if a doctor decides to, for whatever their reasons are, start to withhold or reduce treatment, that means you're a bad doctor. It doesn't mean I'm a bad patient. I am suffering from a condition that causes me pain. I didn't want this. I don't want it. But I've had to make my peace with living with it, at least until such time that there's some kind of a permanent remedy to whatever's wrong with me. I haven't just gone and given up. I've seen doctor after doctor, and been told by several doctors that you just have to live with this residual pain, and I'm not like some medical enigma. This is unfortunately very common. It's something I have to live with. The doctor doesn't have to live with this every day. The doctor who's a pain management specialist, fortunately for them, they don't have to live with pain management. So they don't know what it's like. You go into your doctor every month for your monthly appointment, and a few days beforehand, you start to get this anxiety build up. Why? Because you're afraid that because of all the stupid politics that are going on with opiate drugs, that you as a patient who suffers from constant agonizing pain, there's this real fear that the doctor's going to start to take away the one medication that helps you. That is wrong. A person who's being treated by a doctor shouldn't dread their monthly appointment because they have to fear that their treatment's going to be taken away from them. That's absolutely wrong. There's no justification for it. There's no excuse for it. And there's doctors doing it left and right. This is like every minute of every day, doctors are doing this to people. And they're all bad doctors. And they're unethical people. They're watching out for their practice. They think that they're being careful because lawyers are telling them, hey, just don't prescribe these drugs, whatever. Take the easy way out. I mean, if this were any other ailment or illness or disease, and this were any other kind of treatment, this would be absolutely considered like an atrocity to take away a treatment because for a reason that has nothing to do with the patient or the treatment. It's other people. Like I said in my previous video, with all the buzz and the headlines about opiate-related deaths, blah, 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 show me how many opiate overdoses are from people who suffer from chronic illnesses, who have had treatments, who have had surgeries, etc., who are actually sick people, who are prescribed those medications by their doctor and take them as prescribed and take urine tests to like treat it like a criminal, okay, and take urine tests to make sure they're compliant. How many people like that have overdosed and that there's this danger, this opiate, overdose danger? None. I really, like, maybe there's one, but I don't think there's a single one. So all the deaths you're hearing about are not applicable to me and not applicable to my doctor. My doctor is supposed to treat my illness as best he can, in as safe a manner as he can. But I have to take care of myself. I have to think about my short-term and long-term well-being. And if my doctor is telling me that he has to take away medication because of politics and because of lawyers' scary letters, he's a bad doctor. And I shouldn't be with him. I should find a better doctor. The problem is they're pretty much all like this right now. If there's a doctor out there who's not like that, I want his phone number. And hopefully he takes my insurance. Probably not, because, that's how it is. But this is I wish doctors would be listening to this, because you don't know what it's like to wake up in pain every day, to wake up in the middle of the night in pain, to not be able to sleep because you're in pain, and to look at your clock to say, I can't yet for another 2 hours take medication that will take away my pain because I'm not allowed to yet. But people like me, every day we live with this, every minute we live with this, a schedule of being able to alleviate our pain. And yeah, it's not the only thing we do, but it's the only thing the doctor has any interaction with. He's not there holding my hand when I want to take a walk and give myself some exercise, even though it hurts. All right? He's not there because that doesn't make him some money. It's not his responsibility anyway. So it's not just the cynical part of it, about money. It's not his role. It's my role. But his role is to evaluate my illness and to treat it. And if any reason gets in the way of that, it doesn't matter what the excuse is, because he's getting letters or because the insurance bothers him, or it doesn't matter. If he doesn't do that, then he's doing his job badly, and he's a bad doctor. So people like me, we need to remember that. It's hard to remember that all the time, because we're treated like criminals. We're treated like suspects. All we are is sick. And there's a medication that makes our life worth living. There's treatments for some people that are non-medication. And those treatments are not denied, because they're not involved in a political whatever agenda. Nobody's denying people access to certain things that cost a lot of money, by the way, that make some companies a lot of money, like these devices that work for 1 out of 1,000,000 people, which I tried and it failed. But if there's medication that I need that the doctor's going to take away from me, then he's a very bad doctor, and then it means I need to find a better doctor. And I hope that everybody who's in my situation remembers that. It's crazy having to do this, having to shop around. But honestly, you'd shop around for a better mechanic if he messed up your car. You'd shop around for a better accountant if he got you all messed up with your taxes, and you should have been saving money or getting a return, and instead he messed up the numbers and just did a bad job. Somebody's bad at his job, typically you're not going to want to keep hiring him. And we have to remember that. As long as we're being responsible, we only owe that promise to ourselves, that we're being disciplined with the medicine and taking it properly, and being honest with the doctor when we report our well-being, our status every month. It shouldn't have to be like this, but if I'm already going to be treated like a criminal, even though I'm not, I'm damn well going to stand up for myself, because I know that I'm doing what's right for me. Now I need the doctor to do what's right for me, because it's his job. If he doesn't, he's bad at his job. And it doesn't matter what the reason he's bad, because he wants to be bad at it, or doesn't care about it, or is being manipulated by other people. If he's bad at his job, I can't afford, my health can't afford to have him being treated. So I'm hoping that my doctor, who seems, by the way, to be a very good person, he really does, I'm not just saying that, because he's one of the nicest doctors that I've seen so far when it comes to how he seems to express his concern for my pain. But at the same time, he's backing up with the medication out of fear. And I think that he needs to see that that fear, if that's getting in the way of proper health care, then there's something wrong, because that's not the way it's supposed to be. So I need to know, and you all, everybody who suffers like this needs to know that you're doing what you need to do to take care of yourself. If that means getting another doctor and another, it's not because you're a criminal hunting for drugs. It's because you're a person with a sickness hunting for a good doctor. And you have to remember that every day. So I'll report in later on how it goes tomorrow. I'm going to go take a walk and get some exercise. And I wish you all well.